Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. So faith, hope, love abide, these three, but the greatest is love. I'm so honored to be part of this occasion for more reasons than I can tell you tonight. Just glad to be here and to see two young people begin another part of their lives. Two families came tonight. Only one family will leave. And that means one family united. I, first of all, have something to say to everybody here. If you're here, you are witnesses to this event. And it is incumbent on you to not just in word, but in deed, in spirit, and for some of you in prayer, to pledge to support this couple. None of us really walk alone. And so your help and support, your prayers are needed for this couple. Promise them that you'll do that. And so now, Eric and Amanda, I have 4 questions for you as we get ready for this. The first question is this. Do you remember why you were getting married? Do you remember what brought you to this point? The first time I met Amanda was at her high school. It was after a volleyball game. She was playing. And they lost, which they did often. And it wasn't her fault. Because Amanda walked up to me and we met each other. And she was so upset because they lost. And from that moment and on to this day, I realized that Amanda was the kind of person that put everything in to everything she did. And I could tell you a lot more stories, but that's true. And I expect that will remain true. Now, Eric, along with this question, I just want to tell you, this is not a preseason game. This is not the regular season. This is the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl. Okay, so you can get lost in all the details. But I want you to answer that question. Do you remember why you're getting married? And I say this to both of you. This is a purposeful event. Second question. Do you realize that this is real? After this, you are legally together. You're going to be a married man. And people are not going to say, Eric, you're a married boy. They're going to say, you're a married man. Amanda, you're going to be referred to as a married woman. And I'm going to say married girl. I'm going to say married woman. And this is a public event. All these witnesses are here to attest that you two actually did this. Third question is, by asking a minister to be part of this, the question is, do you want God to be involved in your wedding? One thing I discovered by reading over the Bible in the last few weeks about marriage is that almost every book of the Bible mentions marriage, Bible, and ring. Obviously, it's important. From the 2nd chapter of Genesis, where it talks about two becoming one flesh. Later in Genesis, you have Abraham, who lived in a new country and went back to his country to find his wife. All the way to the book of Revelation, where Christ talks about being the bride and the church believers in him. So this is a God event. And I'm very pleased that you all chosen to include God in this event. I'm very, very pleased. Because we know that a lot of couples nowadays don't do that. That's very pleasing. Let's go back to the book of 1 Corinthians, where we talk about love being patient and kind, bearing all things, enduring all things. The thing that I hope you can remember about love, your love together, your love as a couple, is that love is action. Love is a verb. It's not a place. It's not a thing. It's an action. And my hope and prayer is that all your married life will be action, not just words. So it's appropriate for me to say that this is God's planned event for your lives. The last question I have for you two is really simple. Are you ready to do this thing?
Absolutely.
Chris and Renee, Mike and Lynn, I want to tell you, you've done a great job. You deserve almost as much recognition as this couple for the job you've done. Because whether we realize it or not, they brought these two to this place. And you've done a wonderful job, and I want to commend you. And I'm sure that they have commended you on this. So since you're ready to do this thing, I just have a few more words and we'll get to the vows. Marriage is a companionship that involves mutual commitment and responsibility. You will share alike in the responsibilities and the joys of life. When companions share a sorrow, the sorrow is half. When companions share a joy, the joy is doubled. You're exhorted, you are encouraged to live your life the right way. Make the right decisions. Do what's best for each other. Don't leave God out of your marriage. All these things you know. Your promise is happiness now and hopefully happiness forever. And so, Eric, will you take Amanda to be your wife? Will you commit yourself to her happiness? And do you give yourself to her freely? And will you promise to love, honor, trust, and serve her in sickness and in health, in adversity and prosperity, and to be true and loyal to her so long as you both shall live?
I do.
Amanda, will you take Eric to be your husband? Will you commit yourself to his happiness and self-fulfillment? And do you give yourself to him freely? And do you promise to love, honor, trust, and serve him in sickness and health, in adversity and prosperity, and to be true and loyal to him as long as you both shall live? Yes. Good. We know a lot about the rings. We've seen them. We've heard talk about them doing the circle, the purity of the metal involved. Wedding rings, to me, after 27 years plus of marriage, and doing a lot of weddings and being in a lot of weddings, basically comes down to two things. Wearing the ring says, first of all, you have made a commitment. These two have made a commitment. The second thing it says is, when you put on the ring, you say yes to your spouse. And you say no to everyone else in the world. And so we'll give this ring. Eric, will you give this ring and repeat after me? Amanda, with this ring, I pledge my life and love to you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amanda, will you give this ring and repeat after me? Eric, with this ring, I pledge my love and life to you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The couple has chosen at this part of their service to have some people in their lives